guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany. Today we're going over the next square in our 2024 Crochet Along Blanket project. This square is number 11, right here. Oh my gosh, we are so close to finishing this project. I'm really excited. I hope you are too. So square number 11, we're going over the sweet pea stitch. To be honest, half of the reason why I selected this stitch for the project is because of the name. It is just adorable. The second half is because this stitch was a lot of fun. It's a simple repeat pattern. It looks beautiful. It has a combination of stitches I've never seen before, and so I really hope that you try this one out. If you are a fan of fans and shell stitches, you're in for a real treat. For the pattern, I have a free version located on my blog, on my website. I'll make sure to put all links in the description section below for you, so all you have to do is click on those links and it'll take you directly to it. Next, I'm gonna grab my Volare pillow. Super important for me. And let's head on over to what materials that you're gonna wanna have on hand to make this square. The materials for the sweet pea square include the yarn, Cascade Yarns 220 Superwash Merino wool in the color number 105 or smoke. This is a size 3 or 4 weight yarn, so when it has an in-between like this, it tells me that it's absolutely a size 3 weight yarn or a light size 4. Doing the WPI or the reps per inch, I got 9 reps per inch for this yarn. So if you would like to substitute this out for a different color or maybe something in your yarn stash, or because this is a wool, you'd like to substitute this yarn out for a different fiber, go ahead and do so. I really encourage you to have a lot of fun with this project and not worry so much about what I used unless you really want to use exactly what I used. The crochet hook that I'm using is a G6 or 4.25 millimeter crochet hook. If you only have a 4 millimeter, then just use that, you'll be okay. The other materials are our usual things like our scissors, our yarn needle, and measuring tape. And because this sweet pea stitch has a lot of shells and V's, it might help you out to have some stitch markers as well, but that's optional. All right, go ahead and grab your materials and let's go. All right, for the sweet pea stitch, it's actually worked in a multiple stitch count of a multiple of 7. So for this square that we're making, I'm gonna start by chaining 42 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 41, and 42. Great. For row 1, we're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from our crochet hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double crochet. Now that chain 3 that we skipped does count as our first double crochet stitch, so we just made 2 double crochet stitches next to each other. Next we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and make 5 double crochet stitches in the 3rd chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Great, and that's going to count as our 5 double crochet group is what I'm calling it in the pattern. Then skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and double crochet in the next 2 chains. Double crochet 1, and next chain, double crochet 2. So it looks like that. Now the repeat pattern for row 1 is skip 2 chains, 5 double crochet, skip 2 chains, 1 double crochet in the next 2. Repeat this pattern all the way across for row 1, and I'll meet you at the end of row 1 to show you how we'll close the row and work row 2. Three, 4, 5. Scoot that over so you can see that chain a little clearer. The more stitches we put in this chain, the more the next chain over kind of shrinks. So by scooting these double crochets over, that chain pops up a little bit more. So skip 2, double crochet 1, and double crochet 1. Skip 2, 5 double crochet, 1, and then at the end of row 1, we're left with 3 chains. we're going to skip the first 2 chains and make 3 double crochet stitches in that last chain. Oop, I need to yarn over. Thought I did. Double crochet 1, 2, and 3. By ending with only 3 double crochet stitches, it helps to give us that straight edge, that straight side that we want. And then here is what we're looking at. Awesome. All right, for row 2, we're going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3, and turning our work. That chain 3 does count as our first double crochet stitch. Double crochet between the first and the second double crochet stitch. Right there. There we go. And then we're going to find the 2 double crochets next to each other on row 1, and we're going to make 5 double crochets between those 2 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to find that next group of 5 double crochets, and we're going to double crochet between the second and third double crochet stitch between them, so not on top of them. So find that second and third and actually go between those 2 stitches to double crochet, and double crochet between the third and the fourth double crochet, like that. There we go. And that's the repeat pattern for row 2. 5 double crochets between the 2 double crochets, so making a shell or a fan between the 2 double crochets, and then on top of the group of 5 double crochets, we're making a double crochet between the second and third stitch and a double crochet between the third and fourth stitch. Repeat this pattern all the way across for row 2, and I'll meet you at the end of row 2 to show you how we close the row and what we do for the next part of the project. Four, 5, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Okay, ending row 2 by finding those last 2 stitches, the chain 3 and that first double crochet, and we're going to make 3 double crochet stitches between them. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And again, that helps us to make a straight side. And this is what we're looking at the end of row 2. All right, so moving forward in this project, all we're doing is repeating row 2 over and over and over again. So for this square that we're making, we're going to repeat row 2 through the end of row 26. However, if you would like to take this pattern and make something completely different with it, a whole different blanket project, I think this would be very, very pretty. I did make a whole chart in the pattern for you, which breaks down a bunch of different blanket sizes, their dimensions, so that way you know which blanket you really want to go with, how many chains will be in the foundation row, how many groups of 5 double crochets, or how many basically shells will be in each row, how many rows you're going to need to make, and approximately how much yarn you're going to need for that project before you even begin. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely check out the pattern. Now for us with this square, I'm going to go to row 26, but I want the square to be 13 inches wide by 13 inches tall to meet specific dimensions. So after I reach row 26, I'm going to put a double crochet border around the entire square so I can hit those dimensions. So I'll meet you at the end of row 26 to show you how to do that. All right, so again, we're going to begin by chaining 3, 2, 3, and turning our work. That chain 3 counts as a double crochet stitch. We're going to double crochet between the first and second double crochet stitch. And then next we have those 2 double crochets, so we will make our 5 double crochet group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, double crochet between 2 and 3, double crochet between 3 and 4, and you got it. All right, I'll see you very soon at the end of row 26. All right, so we have made it to the end of row 26, the last row for our square, and this is roughly what you should be looking at. Very, very cool. Now, if your square, you look at it and you're like, man, this looks a little bit long, all you have to do is give it a little tug to reshape it, and what'll happen is by giving it that little tug, it makes it more of that square shape, which is very nice. And if you want to, you can also block this square after finishing the project, and it will beautifully become that beautiful 13 by 13 inch square that we're looking for. The last thing we want to do is a double crochet border around the entire square. So let's go ahead and work that up. I'm going to do this with you because I know some people get a little nervous working the sides of the project, but I got you. We're going to get through this together. All right, we're going to start this border by chaining 2. 1, 2, and turning our work. There we go. There's no right or wrong side to this pattern, so it doesn't matter necessarily which side we are working on. If anyone's concerned about that, don't be concerned. We're okay. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make 1 double crochet stitch in every stitch all the way across. This first chain 2 does count as our first double crochet stitch and takes that first stitch spot. So our next double crochet will actually be in the second stitch over. Double crochet. All right, go ahead and make 1 double crochet stitch in every stitch, and I'll meet you in this next corner or at the end of the row to show you how we're going to get around and start working along the side. And reaching the end of this first top side. Okay, so when we get to that last stitch here, we're actually going to go ahead and make, so this is a V-stitch. So it has the chain 1 and the double crochet. I'm going to make 1 double crochet around the V-stitch. Okay, and then when it comes to this very last stitch, I actually want to make 4 stitches either into the top of that chain, or I'm going to go ahead and just place everything into this big space right here. By putting everything in this big space, there's more room, and I think it'll work out just fine. So we're going to add 4 more double crochet stitches into this space. The first double crochet stitch counts as the last double crochet for this row. The second double crochet stitch is our turning stitch to help turn our project onto the next side. So go ahead and at this point rotate your project, and then we're going to make 2 more double crochet stitches into this space because we are going to make 2 double crochet stitches on the side of every single row, and by doing that it's going to help our project, our border, to lay flat. All right, so working this next side, we are going to go ahead and find the side of every row, and if you need to come back and put a stitch marker in the side to help you out, that's a great technique. But we're going to look for the post of the stitch that's on the side. So this stitch, this stitch, this stitch, and we're going to make 2 double crochet stitches around them all the way down the side. 1, 2, 1, finishing up this side, and here, oh, let me remove that little fuzz. Here is the side of the very last row. I'm going to go ahead and work 4 double crochet stitches in that side. The first 2 count as the last 2 stitches to close up this side. The next double crochet stitch is our turning stitch. And then keep rotating. The 4th stitch is going to be the first stitch along the bottom side of this project. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scoot everything just to help it out a little bit. Now for the tail, I do not crochet over my tail because for me it never stays put and it's not very secure. So I keep it out, and when I'm done with the project, I'll take my yarn needle and I'll weave that in. Okay, when we are looking at the bottom of the project, we got to remember how the pattern went. And the pattern was skip 2 and then make a stitch. And then skip 2, make a stitch. So in the side here, that was our stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and work around the chain 2, making 2 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, and then work a double crochet in the bottom of each one of these stitches. So we got 1 and 1. And then 2 double crochets around that chain 2 right there. There we go. And then we had that 5 double crochet group. Going to make 1 double crochet in the bottom loop there. Okay. 2 double crochet around that chain 2. And then it was 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So double crochet at the bottom of that double crochet, double crochet at the bottom of that double crochet. So just remembering how the pattern flowed so you can keep it a 1-to-1 stitch ratio, making sure you have 1 double crochet stitch for every stitch that was there, or every chain that was there. And again, doing that little check, laying it flat, just setting it down. Is it laying flat the way I want? Especially here on the bottom, making sure you didn't forget a stitch or add too many is going to be very important. And it's laying flat for me, so I'm going to keep going. All right, go ahead and continue on, and I'll meet you in the next corner to show you how we will work the last side of this particular square. At the end of the bottom of this project, I'm going to make 2 double crochet around this last chain 2 space, and then this row ended with a V-stitch. We can see that looking upside down. So we're going to place our 4 double crochet stitches in the V-stitch space. So that's the last double crochet for that side. Second double crochet is our turning stitch. And then again, going back to working 2 double crochet in the side of every row. So we're basically repeating this, what we did on the other side over here, for this side over here. Nothing new, just keep finding the stitch that is on the side and making 2 double crochets around the post of that stitch. All right, continue on. I'll meet you in corner number 4 to show you how we close off this border. We are at the last corner of this particular square, and the last side of this row, making 3 double crochet stitches, 2 double crochets to close off this side, 1 double crochet for our turning stitch. And then we already have our chain 2, our first stitch for this first side. So I'm just gonna slip stitch into the second chain to close the round of the border. And that's what that'll look like. Now all I'll do is I'll take my scissors, cut a long enough tail for me to weave in my ends. There we go. Yarn over, pull that tail through the loop on my crochet hook, pull tight. Great. Now the last thing we have to do is just weave in these ends. And we're done. All right, now when it comes to this particular project, this is square number 11 of our 2024 Sampler Blanket Crochet Along project. If you are just hearing about this project for the very first time, please go to my YouTube channel where you can find square number 1 through 10 ready and waiting for you. This is such a fun project where I am letting you explore different stitches, growing your stitch palette, and kind of trying to get you to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit in a lot of very fun ways. So I hope you try this sampler blanket project out and have so much fun. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this stitch. I hope you give it a try, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.